I don't exist. You're all characters.
I'm losing control.
Why are we here? And I ultimately found, what is this? That even the me I created wasn't real.
Who the hell is Jim Carrey?
Once Jim Carrey reached the pinnacle of fame and fortune, he realized it was all a lie, a story that Hollywood, for decades, has packaged and sold. You're going to be a star, they told him. The next opportunity will be your breakout moment. He bought into that dream and in the process became addicted to seeking the acceptance and approval of others, people who could discard him in a heartbeat. Yet, by what seemed like some act of divine intervention, sheer persistence, or maybe just pure talent, Carrey made it. He made the leap from obscure impressionist to a box office juggernaut, starring in classic films, spanning genres, generating billions, and inspiring people around the world. But none of it delivered what it promised. At the height of his stardom, Carrey felt empty, alone, lacking purpose and identity. Instead of running from Hollywood's facade, he leaned into it, using his platform to peel back the industry's glossy shell and show the disillusioning reality beneath. When asked in interviews about his theatrical persona, he'd stare blankly and say,
There is no me. There's no you. We're not here. This is just a dream.
And it wasn't just an act. This was a man who knew how it felt to be hollowed out by expectations. Carrey's first taste of failure wasn't in Hollywood, but on the stage of a Toronto comedy club at age 15. His routine flopped so badly that the crowd played the Jesus Christ Superstar soundtrack, chanting, "Crucify him," mid-act. The humiliation was so severe, he took a break from performing, not out of bruised ego, but sheer necessity. His family was so poor, they were living in a van outside the city. Throughout his teens, Carrey's family scraped by, sometimes even camping in a tent near Lake Ontario. But Jim returned. Standing on stages across Canada in the late 70s, he found his footing as an impressionist, a guy who could mimic anyone, but not yet a real comedian in his own right. Laughs were sporadic. Most people saw him as just a novelty act, but a single glowing review from a Toronto Star writer changed everything. Suddenly, he was in demand. By 1981, he was opening for Rodney Dangerfield, appearing on national TV and landing small acting gigs. It was a start, but every leap forward seemed to be checked by an equally dramatic setback. He was rejected again and again by Saturday Night Live. The Tonight Show rescinded his invitation to perform after a lukewarm club set. Even when he finally landed the lead role in a sitcom, The Duck Factory, the show was cancelled after one season. Every time I took a step forward, the momentum just stopped, Carrey reflected, but he kept coming back, guided by a strange certainty that somehow something would work out. Finally, through a winding path of small roles and failed auditions, Carrey joined the sketch show In Living Color. There, his physical comedy and wild characters finally had room to breathe. He was no longer the guy fighting to squeeze his comedy into someone else's format. He fit the show, and the show fit him. Then came Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber. His brand of elastic slapstick and unhinged energy became a cultural touchstone. In quick succession, Carrey went from Canada's weirdest impressionist to the most bankable star in Hollywood, earning staggering paychecks and headline roles in blockbuster after blockbuster. But even as industry magazines obsessed over his $20 million paydays, Carrey found himself increasingly confused. Why, amid all this wealth and fame, did he feel so disconnected?
We were happier living in a van.
He told interviewers, baffled by Hollywood's fixation on status and money. Carrey's desire for creative risk led him to darker, more ambitious films like The Cable Guy and The Truman Show, where he played an everyman whose entire life is manufactured and televised, a puppet controlled by the invisible hand of the entertainment industry. Off-screen, the experience shook him. He began to see how much of his own fame was constructed, artificial.
I've surpassed every dream I ever had, and it doesn't mean as much as I thought it would.
He confessed, instead of fulfillment, there was anxiety and even depression. Through the 2000s, Jim Carrey kept making blockbuster comedies, but privately struggled, searching for answers. He began reading spiritual writers, meditating, stepping back from the relentless cycle of performance, and started sharing his revelations. At a graduation speech, he said,
"The effect you have on others is the most valuable currency there is. Everything you gain will rot and fall apart. All that's left is what's in your heart."
In recent years, Carrey has been more candid. Hollywood, he said, will never make you happy.
You can add things to yourself, define yourself, and if you finally get there, you'll find it so empty.
After everything, the adulation, the fortune, the endless pursuit, he arrived at a simple truth. What you do isn't who you are. You might as well spend your time on something you love. Chase the dream, not for status or money, but because there is joy in the doing. Then, perhaps, you won't need approval from a world that's just a flickering stage set after all. And as he once put it, perhaps the greatest realization of all,
I have enough. I've done enough. I am enough.